RAM. What, why and how much do you need exactly? Let's find out in this video. RAM, or random access memory, is volatile memory that your computer needs to perform tasks faster. The basic scenario between RAM and cache can be cleared by explaining the memory hierarchy. What is the memory hierarchy? Well, the bigger and slower the memory, think hard drives, the cheaper it is. And the smaller and faster the memory, the more expensive it is, think cache. So, RAM lies somewhere in between the primary storage. The RAM is sort of like the scribble pad for your computer to do tasks swiftly in the scribble pad and then swap it back into the program cycle. Now, how much RAM do you exactly need? Essentially, in the 21st century, and specifically in the 2015s or 2016 for that matter, you won't need 4 gigs of RAM if you do basic office work. That is, if you're editing spreadsheets or making presentations on your laptop or desktop PC, then 4 gigs is enough. Trust me on that one. But if you're a gamer who games on the computers and you play the latest and greatest AAA titles, you will need 8 gigs of RAM, and that is, let's say, somewhat okay for gaming. But if you really want to be future-proof for gaming, for browsing, and for everyday power use, then I'd suggest go for 16 gigs of RAM. And 16 gigs of RAM, while is enough for us power users, if you are a video editor and you use the RAM, a RAM disk for a scratch disk in Premiere Pro or even Photoshop, you can use something called scratch disks where these RAMs are allocated as a temporary hard drive, and then you can use them as a super fast hard drive to do your work. You see, the speed also matters, and that is where things get a little confusing. Up to the size it was okay. So first I'll get the DDR part out of the way. Double data rate. DDR is basically, think of the bandwidth. It is something that somewhat specifies the bandwidth or the memory speed of the RAM sticks. Now next come to the FSB or the megahertz. How to put this? 2400 megahertz happens to be very fast RAM when taking DDR3 into scenario. But if you're using a Core i5 or a Core i7, I'd suggest stick to 1600 megahertz of DDR3 RAM and you'll be fine. But if you want to splurge some extra cache, you can go up to 2400 megahertz or even 3200 megahertz. There are those crazy Corsair Dominator kits out there. Use that to get minimal bumps in speed, and especially if you're an overclocker, then go for those kits. Now the last and really again important bit, though you'll not see the effect of that in your everyday life, is the latency in RAMs. Yes, that is the cache latency. Every time you buy a RAM stick, you're going to see something in the model number with a C succeeding that. C9, C10. So here's this RAM stick. Think of this RAM stick with 16 gigs of DDR3 with cache latency 9. And then there's another RAM stick which is 16 gigs of DDR3 1600 megahertz with cache latency 10. What is the difference between the two? Like I said, latency is the time difference between when you assign something a job and when you get it back. That means having a lower latency RAMs in turn means that your CPU and your RAM, when they're communicating between each other, the time gap will be smaller. So if you have two modules of equal speed and one proceeds with C8, say 1600 MHz C8 RAM kit, and there's another 1600 MHz C10 RAM kit, and you see a price difference between the two, and prior to watching this video your jaws would drop. Oh my god, I mean, both are 16 gigs, both are 1600 MHz, why is this one so expensive? Well, the difference in the price between the two kits should be evidently clear to you now. Thus, I think the 3 most important bits of RAM is taken care of. Now I know guys, that's a lot to take in just one video, but before choosing your RAM modules, if you're building a custom PC, do a fair amount of research now that we have humbly informed you about the 3 basic factors before buying a RAM.